My name is Tiana Serrano, and I will be doing my final presentation on lupus. I was just super interested in this, and I thought that it would be something maybe we could dive into together. So let's jump in. A little bit of background information about lupus. It was actually super hard to find. This disease was first identified in the 13th century. It has been used to basically describe a lot of other diseases before it was actually its own disease with 4 different categories. It was thought to have been discovered first by Malcolm Hargraves in 1948. However, it was first described in the medical literature by a French dermatologist named Pierre-Louis Alphée Savance. I think that's how you say it. The first anti-DNA antibodies were identified in 1957. So basically about this disease, there are so many different parts to it, and we are still learning so much, so the history is kind of all over the place. It seems that different scientists and professors are finding more and more information, just adding to what we already know. So there's no one person that it was named after or anything like that. Lupus itself is a Latin word meaning wolf, because originally back in the 1300s it was thought to be described as wolf markings like on their face, which I definitely did not know. Okay, so what is lupus? Lupus is a disease that occurs when your body's immune system attacks its own tissues and organs, which is an autoimmune disease. The inflammation caused by lupus can affect many different body systems, including the kidneys, the blood, the brain, the heart, the lungs, the joints, everything. This disease can affect everybody in different ways with signs, symptoms. It also goes through periods of flare-ups, and it also can be in remission. It never completely goes away, and you don't grow out of it. Alright, here's some fun did you know facts. Lupus is more common with women than with men. It is actually found that 90% of lupus cases are with women. However, 65% of those cases are women of color, and 3% more of that are women that are African American. This disease is actually known as a younger disease, which means you can be diagnosed with it before you're an adult, starting at 15 all the way to 44. There are some cases where you can be diagnosed outside of that as well. However, a diagnosis actually takes an average of 6 years to even be diagnosed with all the tests and everything that they have to run. 60% of people with lupus actually are or have some type of photosensitivity and sensitivity to the sun as well. 80% of people with lupus, however, are expected to live a full average life as long as they are managing those symptoms, trying to stay ahead of it, eating healthy, doing all the positive things that you could be doing. Also, as I told you before, there is not one test to diagnose it. There's a series of several tests that you need to be doing to try and figure out all of this. Lupus is known as the imitation disease because it shows up as several other diseases, and it takes a lot of screening to actually get through all of those different things before you find out what you would actually have. Alright, so how do we diagnose lupus? Lupus cannot be identified by just one test. It takes a series of several tests over a long period of time to actually do this. You would first need to identify with some symptoms as far as the rash, fever, swelling, fatigue. They would take a family history, and your doctor will look for any rashes, something that would maybe be wrong. Then you would do the blood and urine test. Those would be testing for anti-nuclear antibodies, the ANAs. Most people test positive for those that have lupus. You would also be doing the urine test. That's identifying the protein in the red blood cell count. They would also take a very in-depth medical and family history for the patient and any close immediate family. You are more likely to have it if a family member has it as well. So the x-rays would just rule out other conditions, which is definitely something you want to do.